Daily discipline is the gateway to personal growth. There is no way around it. You can hope, you can wish, you can even dream, but without the steady hand of daily effort, all those things remain floating ideas, never forming into results. Jim Rohn often said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day." That statement carries more power than most people realize, because it's not about doing something massive once in a while. It's about doing the right things consistently until they compound into something extraordinary. Discipline is not punishment, it's training. It's structure. It's the foundation upon which greatness is built. Discipline means doing what you said you would do long after the mood you set it in has passed. That's where transformation happens. That's where the real character is formed, not in the easy moments, but in the difficult ones where excuses try to seduce you and you choose purpose over comfort instead. If you want to grow mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, you must start by developing discipline as a daily habit, not something you turn to when things get hard, not something you only remember when motivation strikes. Daily discipline is a commitment to your future self. It's how you build the bridge from who you are now to who you wish to become. The reason most people stay stuck is not because they lack ambition. Most people want a better life, but they aren't willing to trade momentary pleasure for long-term reward. They wait to feel like it. But discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what you promised. And when you stop breaking your own promises, your confidence builds, your momentum grows, and you begin to develop something far stronger than motivation: identity. You start to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who shows up, someone who does what matters, even when it's hard. Think about this. Nature thrives on consistency. The sun rises and sets every day. The seasons change in rhythm. Crops grow with time, water, light, and patience. The same principle applies to your personal development. You can't grow in fits and spurts alone. You need to show up daily. That might mean reading 10 pages of a good book every day, writing one paragraph, practicing your skill for 30 minutes, exercising for your health, checking in with your goals, planning your day with purpose. These are small actions, but over time, they change the course of your life. What's fascinating is that most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year if they show up daily. Discipline multiplies. The small habits you form stack up. Miss a day? That's okay. But miss too many, and the habit dissolves. That's why daily effort matters. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Discipline also protects your time. When you live with discipline, you don't waste your hours on distractions. You use your time instead of losing it. You begin to live by design, not by default. Instead of reacting to life, you respond with purpose. That's how you move from chaos to clarity, from overwhelm to control. But let's be honest, discipline is not glamorous. It's often boring. No fireworks, no applause, no immediate payoff. But what makes discipline powerful is that it works quietly. It builds strength in silence. It's what happens when no one is watching. And those are the moments that count the most. Because when the lights are off and the doors are closed, that's when your future is being shaped. You don't have to be extreme, just consistent. The person who walks a mile every day will go farther than the one who runs 10 miles once a month. It's not about pace, it's about persistence. That's why discipline wins every time. So today and every day, ask yourself, what small discipline can I practice? What one thing can I do that builds me up instead of breaks me down? It might be hard in the moment, but it's always worth it. Because when you build discipline into your daily life, you don't just grow, you become unstoppable. Personal development precedes financial success. That is a truth too often overlooked in a world obsessed with outcomes rather than origins. You see, most people chase wealth, status, and outward achievement, thinking that success is something you pursue, but in reality, success is something you attract by the person you become. If you don't grow on the inside, nothing you gain on the outside will last. That's the philosophy Jim Rohn lived by, and taught with powerful clarity. You don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. That one idea can change your entire relationship with work, money, and growth. It shifts the focus from just doing to developing. It's not about how long you work, but how effective you become. And effectiveness comes from sharpening your mind, building your character, and learning how to serve with excellence. Those are not financial skills, they are personal skills. And yet, they determine your financial future more than any external condition. Wealth does not come from luck or random chance. It comes from value. And value comes from the qualities you cultivate. Discipline, focus, integrity, communication, curiosity, leadership, patience. These are internal tools, and like any tools, they must be developed, refined, and practiced regularly. You don't wake up one day as a high performer, you grow into one. The question is, who are you becoming while you pursue what you want? Personal development is the investment that always pays off. It compounds. Every book you read, every habit you build, every time you choose growth over comfort, you are increasing your capacity. And when your capacity expands, so does your earning potential, your influence, and your ability to contribute. That's what makes it so powerful. You don't have to chase opportunity. When you grow, opportunity finds you. But here's the hard truth. Most people want better results without becoming better people. They want more income without increasing their insight. They want more freedom without taking more responsibility. And that mindset creates frustration, because the outer world will always reflect the inner world. If your thinking is small, your results will be small. If your habits are weak, your income will be limited. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else will either. That's why Jim Rohn would say, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. And that's not a criticism, it's an invitation to rise, to improve, to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because when you grow yourself, you automatically raise the ceiling of what's possible for your life. You see, income rarely exceeds personal development. If you want to earn more, you must learn more. If you want to lead more people, you must grow into a better leader. If you want to build something great, you must become someone great. That's not an ego-driven pursuit. It's a growth-driven one. You're not chasing perfection. You're pursuing progress every day, bit by bit, layer by layer. Think of your life as a tree. The fruits are your results, your income, your achievements, your relationships, but the roots, those are your habits, your mindset, your discipline, your education. If the roots are weak, the fruits will wither, but if the roots are deep, the fruits will come in season, in abundance, and in strength. So don't just prune the branches, nourish the roots. This is why personal development is not something you do once in a while. It's something you build into your daily life. Read books that stretch your thinking. Listen to mentors who challenge you. Practice skills until they become second nature. Reflect on your actions. Ask better questions. Set higher standards. Track your growth. And remember, the goal is not to be better than others. It's to be better than you were yesterday. Ultimately, your success will never exceed your level of personal development. So if you want a better life, start with a better you. Grow your mindset, your attitude, your vision, and your habits, and the rest will follow. Personal development is not a detour on the road to success. It is the road. Walk it daily and watch what happens. Self-responsibility is non-negotiable. It is the bedrock of maturity, growth, and personal achievement. Until you accept full ownership of your life, your decisions, your actions, your results, you'll remain stuck in the same cycle of blame, excuses, and frustration. Jim Rohn used to say, You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. That's where your power begins, not in controlling what happens to you, but in mastering how you respond. When you take responsibility, you reclaim your power. You move from being a victim of life to becoming the architect of it. You stop waiting for someone to fix it, rescue you, or give you permission. You realize that no one is coming to save you, and that's okay, because you don't need saving. What you need is awareness, discipline, and a willingness to change. When you shift from asking, why is this happening to me, to what am I going to do about it, you step into the mindset that creates success. Responsibility is not the same as blame. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you caused every bad thing that happened to you. It means you're choosing to take control of what happens next. It means you're refusing to let your past define your future. It's easy to point fingers at your upbringing, your boss, the economy, your circumstances. But easy never leads to growth. Ownership does. Because once you own your situation, you can improve it. You can learn from it. You can change the story. Self-responsibility is also the foundation of self-respect. When you keep your word to yourself, when you follow through on your commitments, when you face the truth and adjust your course, you build self-trust. That's how confidence is created. Not through wishful thinking, but through action, through integrity, through a track record of doing the right thing, even when it's difficult. People who take responsibility rise faster. They don't waste time defending mistakes or denying the obvious. They say, yes, I missed the mark. Here's what I'm going to do about it. That kind of thinking is rare, but it's powerful because it accelerates learning. It accelerates change. It turns setbacks into stepping stones. The most successful people aren't perfect. They're just brutally honest with themselves. They don't hide from their flaws. They work on them. The truth is, no real change happens without responsibility. You can attend every seminar, read every book, follow every influencer, but if you won't take responsibility, nothing sticks. You'll be filled with knowledge but lacking results. Responsibility is the bridge between knowing and doing, between planning and executing, between talking and living it. Think of any area of your life, your health, your finances, your relationships, your goals. If something isn't working, ask, what part of this do I control? That one question can open the door to transformation. It shifts the focus from what's wrong to what's possible, and that's where growth begins. Sometimes responsibility means making tough choices. It means letting go of bad habits, walking away from toxic influences, admitting you've been lazy or distracted. It's not always easy to confront those things, but it's necessary, because without confrontation, there is no correction, and without correction, there is no improvement. But the beauty of self-responsibility is this: the moment you accept it, you become free. Free to change, free to choose differently, free to rewrite the script of your life. Responsibility doesn't weigh you down, it lifts you up. It says, you are in control of your destiny. You get to decide what happens next. This is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. Every day you choose how you respond. You choose your attitude. You choose your level of effort. You choose what to focus on. You choose whether to complain or to take action. And those choices stacked over time shape your life. So don't fear responsibility. Embrace it. It's not a burden. It's a blessing. It's the tool that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. The ones who rise above average are not the most talented or the most lucky. They're the most accountable. They say, if it's to be, it's up to me. And then they get to work. That's how you grow. That's how you lead. That's how you win. Not by waiting for life to change, but by changing yourself first. Habits shape your future more than wishes do. That's a truth that many overlook because it's easier to hope than to build. People dream of success. They wish for a better life. They imagine achieving big things, but dreams and wishes by themselves don't move the needle. Habits do. Jim Rohn often reminded us, motivation gets you started. Habit keeps you going. It's not what you do once in a while that matters, it's what you do consistently. Your daily habits are either designing your destiny or slowly dismantling it. When you look at successful people, what you're really seeing is a series of small, smart choices made consistently over time. Not one big break, not one magic moment, but a collection of habits that compound day after day. It's the person who reads every morning while others scroll social media. It's the one who saves a little from every paycheck instead of spending it all. It's the person who exercises when they don't feel like it, who follows up when they'd rather procrastinate, who studies when others quit. These are not dramatic actions, but they are powerful because they are repeated. Habits are the silent architects of your life. They work in the background, shaping your thoughts, behaviors, and ultimately your outcomes. Most people want to change their results without changing their routines. But that's not how life works. If your outcomes are poor, the first place to look is your habits. What are you doing every day? What are you practicing? What are you reinforcing? You see, your brain loves habits because they conserve energy. Once a behavior becomes automatic, your brain doesn't have to think as hard. This is helpful if your habits are good, but it's dangerous if your habits are poor. That's why awareness is key. You must examine your routines with honesty. Are they leading you closer to your goals or pulling you away? Are you living on purpose or just on autopilot? One of the greatest investments you can make is designing habits that serve your highest self. Start small because habits don't require massive change. They require consistency. You don't need to go to the gym for 2 hours a day. You need to show up every day, even for 20 minutes. You don't need to read 5 books a week. Start with 10 pages a day. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just build one strong habit at a time. And here's the secret: habits compound. A single action may seem insignificant, but its repeated application creates massive results over time. Just like money earns interest, habits earn results. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, action over delay, you're making a deposit into your future. And eventually those deposits create a life of wealth, strength, and purpose. But remember, this principle cuts both ways. Negative habits compound too. The daily soda becomes a weight problem. The constant complaining becomes a toxic mindset. The skipped study sessions become missed opportunities. You won't notice the damage at first, just like you don't notice tooth decay the day you skip brushing. But give it time and the consequences show up. So be mindful of the small things, because success is rarely about huge heroic actions. It's usually about the simple disciplines practiced daily. Likewise, failure is rarely a single event. It's a slow erosion of standards over time. That's why habits matter so much. They are the small hinges that swing big doors. And the good news is, habits are within your control. You don't need anyone's permission to start a new one. You don't have to wait for the new year or next week or even tomorrow. You can start today, right now. Your future self is watching, hoping you'll make the choices today that make life better later. Habits are a mirror of your priorities. They reflect what you truly value, not what you say you value, but what you act on. If you value health, you'll eat well and move your body. If you value learning, you'll make time to read and reflect. If you value success, you'll build the habits that success requires. It's that simple and that difficult. But the truth remains, your habits shape your life. Not your dreams, not your hopes, not your intentions, your habits. So build them with care, shape them with purpose, guard them with discipline, Because in the end, the future doesn't belong to the most talented, it belongs to the most consistent. Time is the most valuable resource you'll ever have. It's the one thing every person on this planet has in equal measure each day, 24 hours, no more, no less. Yet how we use that time determines the quality of our lives, the results we produce, and the impact we leave behind. Unlike money, which can be saved, earned, or borrowed, time only moves in one direction. Once a moment is gone, it's gone forever. That's why Jim Rohn always emphasized the importance of valuing your time, protecting it, and investing it wisely. Most people treat time casually, as if it's an endless supply. They waste hours in distraction, procrastination, or meaningless tasks, believing there will always be more time to do what really matters. But that's a dangerous illusion. You don't have time to waste. Every day that passes is one less day you have to fulfill your purpose, chase your goals, or improve your life. Every wasted hour is a lost opportunity, one that can't be retrieved, replaced, or rewound. The truth is, time is life. When you waste time, you're not just delaying progress, you're shortening the runway of your own potential. When you respect your time, you respect your life. That means planning your day with intention, saying no to things that don't align with your priorities, and being clear on what truly matters. It means deciding in advance how your hours will be used, instead of drifting through the day reacting to whatever comes your way. One of the most powerful ways to take control of your time is through scheduling. A schedule isn't a cage, it's a framework for freedom. When you plan your time, you free yourself from confusion, indecision, and wasted effort. You know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and when it needs to be done. That clarity gives you momentum, and momentum, day after day, leads to massive results. Jim Rohn often pointed out that we don't get paid for the time itself, but for the value we bring to that time. It's not about being busy, it's about being productive. There's a difference between motion and progress. A person can spend the entire day working and accomplish nothing meaningful. Meanwhile, someone else can focus with precision for 2 hours and produce powerful results. The difference isn't time, it's how that time is used. And that leads to the next key idea. Time must be aligned with purpose. If you don't have a purpose, your time will be filled by distractions. But when you know what you're aiming for, what matters to you, what you're building, who you want to become, then your time becomes a tool, not a burden. You stop spending your days on things that are urgent but unimportant. You begin to prioritize activities that move the needle. That doesn't mean you have to work all the time. Using time well also means knowing when to rest, reflect, and recharge. Time used for renewal is not wasted, it's essential. Burnout is the result of time spent without balance. So time management isn't about cramming more into your day, it's about making room for what matters most, whether that's focused work, meaningful connection, or intentional rest. Another critical aspect of time management is awareness. Start noticing where your time actually goes. Track it if you must. You'll be surprised how much of it slips away unnoticed, scrolling, chatting, jumping between tasks, reacting instead of planning. Awareness is the first step to reclaiming your time. Once you know where it's going, you can redirect it. You can cut the waste. You can protect the hours that matter most. And finally, remember this. Time is a gift, but it's also a test. How you use it reveals your values, your mindset, and your vision. If you use time wisely, you'll reap the rewards. Not instantly, but inevitably. If you use it poorly, you'll face regret. Not immediately, but eventually. Every hour counts. Every day builds on the one before it. So make the most of your minutes. Treat each day like it matters, because it does. In the end, time is not just something you manage, it's something you honor. Honor it by using it with purpose. Respect it by protecting it from waste. Invest it in things that bring growth, value, and meaning, because when the clock runs out, you won't be measured by how much you had, but by how well you used what you were given. Relationships are one of the greatest influences on your personal and professional life. Who you spend time with will either lift you higher or hold you back. Jim Rohn often said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." That single insight can transform your entire perspective. If you want to grow, succeed, and live a meaningful life, you must become intentional about the people you allow into your world. People affect your mindset, your standards, your habits, and even your beliefs about what's possible. If you surround yourself with negative people, those who complain, blame, gossip, or make excuses, you'll find yourself slowly absorbing their patterns, even without realizing it. Their energy becomes your atmosphere. Their limits become your ceiling, and often their doubt becomes your hesitation. On the other hand, if you choose to spend time with people who think bigger, expect more, and push for progress, you will rise to meet that challenge. Relationships are not neutral. Every person in your life is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Some people energize you while others exhaust you. Some challenge you to grow while others pressure you to stay the same. That's why you must take stock of your circle regularly. Who are you becoming because of who you're with? That's a question worth asking. But building great relationships isn't just about filtering others. It's also about becoming someone worthy of connection. Strong relationships are not built on charm or charisma. They're built on character. They require honesty, humility, generosity, and trust. If you want deeper, more powerful connections, start by developing yourself. Be the friend who encourages others. Be the colleague who delivers on promises. Be the mentor who lifts people up, not tears them down. One of the best investments you can make is in learning how to communicate well. Because relationships rise or fall on communication. That means listening more than you speak. It means seeking to understand before trying to be understood. It means speaking with clarity and kindness, not just volume or emotion. People don't follow titles, they follow those who listen, those who care, and those who make them feel valued. Another key part of growing in relationships is learning to resolve conflict. There's no such thing as a perfect relationship because people are imperfect. But strong relationships are not free from conflict. They are strengthened through it. When handled with maturity, conflict can deepen understanding and strengthen trust. Avoiding tough conversations only leads to resentment. Facing them with courage and compassion builds respect. Don't fear disagreement. Use it as a tool for growth. And of course, in relationships, give more than you take. The people who leave the greatest impact are those who show up to serve, not to be served. Look for ways to add value, offer help, share knowledge, celebrate others' success, ask how you can support someone's goals. That kind of attitude doesn't just build relationships, it builds reputation. And in life, your reputation is priceless. It's also important to build relationships across generations and backgrounds. Learn from those ahead of you. Seek out mentors, people who have done what you hope to do. Their wisdom can save you years of trial and error. At the same time, share what you've learned with those coming up behind you. Helping others grow strengthens your own understanding and multiplies your influence. But the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. You must be at peace with who you are when no one's watching. You must believe in your own value before expecting others to. You must be comfortable in your own presence before you can be fully present with someone else. Self-respect is the foundation of all healthy relationship. If you don't develop that inner relationship, you'll constantly seek validation from others. And you'll compromise too much just to feel accepted. In the end, relationships are the currency of life. They determine the quality of your days and the direction of your future. No one climbs to success alone. Behind every achiever is a network of encouragers, advisors, partners, and friends. So choose wisely, invest deeply, and grow intentionally. Because when you build strong relationships, you don't just create success, you create significance. And significance lasts longer than success ever will. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Without it, the best intentions, the greatest ambitions, and even the clearest plans will amount to little. Discipline is what turns dreams into daily action and effort into achievement. Jim Rohn used to say, discipline is the foundation upon which all success is built. Lack of discipline inevitably leads to failure. That's not just a motivational phrase. It's a life principle. Discipline is the invisible force that shapes your habits, directs your time, and holds your standards in place, even when motivation fades. It's easy to get excited about a new goal. Starting something doesn't take much strength. It's the continuing that counts. Discipline is what keeps you showing up after the excitement wears off. It's what gets you up early when the bed is warm and your goals are calling. It's what helps you say no to distractions, temptations, and shortcuts. Because real progress isn't made through occasional effort. It's built through consistent, disciplined action. Think of anyone you admire, an athlete, a successful entrepreneur, a world-class artist. What they all have in common isn't just talent. It's disciplined practice over time. Talent may open the door, but discipline keeps you in the room. It turns average ability into exceptional performance. It transforms potential into power. Without discipline, even the most gifted people waste their advantage. With discipline, even the most ordinary individuals can produce extraordinary results. Discipline begins with decisions. Every day you face choices. Do you follow through or make excuses? Do you stick to the plan or give in to comfort? Discipline means choosing what you want most over what you want right now. That's hard. It requires saying no when it's easier to say yes. It means doing the work when nobody's watching. It means training your mind to obey your values instead of your moods. The truth is, discipline often feels uncomfortable in the moment. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It can feel repetitive, rigid, even boring. But that's the price of greatness. Discipline is the cost of freedom. Freedom to live on your terms, to achieve what you set out to do, to become who you are capable of being. People think discipline is restrictive. It's not. It's what frees you from regret, mediocrity, and dependence on others. But discipline isn't about being harsh or perfectionistic. It's about alignment. It's about aligning your daily behavior with your highest priorities. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about empowering yourself. When you practice discipline, you're not losing comfort. You're gaining control. You're training yourself to act in ways that support your goals, not sabotage them. Start small. Discipline is built over time, like a muscle. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Begin with one promise to yourself, a morning routine, a focused work block, a commitment to exercise. Keep that promise, then build another. With each act of discipline, you strengthen your confidence. You prove to yourself that you are in charge, that you can be trusted to follow through. That's where real self-esteem comes from, not from praise, but from performance. Another important truth about discipline is that it must be internal. If your discipline depends on someone else pushing you, it won't last. You must become self-directed. You must decide what matters to you and commit to it. Discipline that is imposed from the outside will break the moment pressure is removed. But discipline that comes from within, that is anchored in purpose and self-respect, becomes a lifestyle. One way to sustain discipline is to keep your why close. When the work gets hard, when you feel tired or discouraged, remind yourself why you started. Vision fuels discipline. If the vision is strong, the struggle becomes worth it. Don't just focus on the grind, focus on the growth. Every disciplined day is a brick in the foundation of your future. Stack enough of them and you'll build something remarkable. Finally, understand that discipline is not about never failing. Everyone slips. Everyone has off days. Discipline is about how quickly you get back on track. It's about resilience, not perfection. Don't let one mistake turn into a habit. Bounce back with purpose. Correct course quickly. That's the difference between those who drift and those who ascend. Discipline is the secret ingredient behind every meaningful result. It's the engine of progress, the shield against distraction, and the fuel for perseverance. If you want more out of life, give more discipline to life. Because when you master discipline, you don't just change what you do, you change who you become.